I thought I'd share a little bit about my specifics on my back pain. Today's day 2 of having no back pain, or not this specific back pain. I'm in my early 60s, so I have pain. I have various pains, believe me. But I don't have this back pain that was so debilitating, and I want to share how I got here a little bit, as briefly as I can. So I've had this spondylolisthesis, and nobody knows how long, because I didn't do MRIs through the rest of my life, right? But when it started to hurt 20, 30 years ago, they started checking to see on the MRI what was going on. The only way to correct this spondylolisthesis that anyone can give me is surgery. The surgeon says he can put in the hardware, it's about this big, nuts and bolts and screws and all that big piece of hardware in my spine to fuse my spine and hold it together. I've talked to them about 4 times about this, trying to get up the courage to do it and to have it make sense to me, and it never makes sense to me. So I haven't done that. What started happening is I was getting all this nerve pain shooting down my leg. I didn't know it was nerve pain. I didn't know what it was. I thought I was having a heart attack or stroke or something. I didn't know what it was. And they told me it was nerve pain, and every doctor I was working with assumed it was coming from this spondylolisthesis in my spine. The spinal surgeon says no. I can correct the general pain you have in your spine, but this nerve pain you're having isn't coming from your spine. I don't know where it's coming from, he says, but it's not your spine. So my GP sends me to one more PT guy. This is the guy I talked about yesterday. And I'm thinking, I don't want more PT with people telling me to lose weight and get strong. Because I weighed less and I was stronger when all this pain started, so it didn't make sense to me. But she sent me to somebody different, and this guy said, okay, let's assume that the surgeon is right. Always a good place to start, right? He said, let's find out if the nerve pain you're having is coming from your pelvis. I was like, okay. So for the first month or so, we worked on aligning my pelvis. It was out of alignment. He said, I did these very simple stretches, and then it would be in alignment. The next visit, I was out. He'd get me back in. And within like 3 weeks or so, I was staying in alignment. But the thing is, after the very first visit, the nerve pain stopped. The nerve pain I had had for 2-3 years that no one could solve, the nerve pain stopped immediately after he adjusted my pelvis and gave me these little stretches to do. It takes 30 seconds. I still do them every day, a few times a day, just because it feels good. So the nerve pain has stopped. I don't have shooting, stabbing, twitching legs anymore. I'm pretty happy about that. Then I said to the guy, is there anything, you've done that so well, is there anything you can do for me about my back? Okay, I've just walked further than I have walked in probably 10 years, so I'm just gonna stretch for a second. Just because I take care of myself. I'm gonna start walking back. So I can, that's a long way for me. It's not a long way, but it's a long way for me for a long time. Anyway, so I said, is there anything you can do for my back? And he said, well, let's try. And he's done a few things that have given me relief for the day. But what he did for me, yesterday, it was just yesterday. Wow, it was so transformative that it feels like forever ago, because my life feels so changed from it. I don't know, we'll see if it holds, but right now I still feel totally transformed from this experience. So he had me lay down flat on the table. And every time I do that, I explained to him again, I can do that, but it hurts. It's hard for me to lay down flat on the table. It's always been hard for me to lay down flat on the table, meaning, 20, 30 years. Or to lay flat in bed, or it's just hard for me to lay flat. It just hurts where my spondy is. And he said, well, let's try this little stretching exercise. It's kind of a test to see if this is the problem. If it works, then we know that's a problem for you. He had me do this little stretch. He called it the Thomas exercise, I think. The Thomas stretch, the Thomas test, something like that. I don't know. And it's the psoas muscle. And it's that my psoas muscle was really tight, and he just had me do this stretch off the edge of the table. I'm not going to give you it because I think a medical person should work with you on that, not me. I'm not a medical person. I'm not giving medical advice. He had me do this Thomas stretch, and on each side of the table, one for each leg, in a certain way too, because of the way it was hurting my back. And then I just laid flat on the table again, and I just laid there waiting for the pain to start, because any second now the pain was going to start, right? Obviously, because it's my constant companion for 30 years or whatever, 20, 30, 35 years. And it wasn't there. And so I waited a little longer, and I was just like, where'd it go? Where'd the pain go? And I got up off the table, and honestly, I was kind of dizzy. I had to sit back down. It was just like everything was changed. Everything was a little bit different. And so, I don't know, I just felt like something had really shifted. And I don't know how to, it sounds so woo-woo. And I am a 60s girl, and I'm a hippie art Vermont girl, barefoot as much of the year as I can be, but I'm not like woo-woo without data. I like data, you know what I mean? I'm a science girl. So I don't know what to tell you. I just felt different. I've felt different ever since. He said to me, wow, you look taller. And I feel taller. I feel taller. I don't, something happened with the stretching of that psoas muscle. I think it's probably because I sit or I stand, or I sit or I stand, but with the back pain, I haven't been able to do so much for so long. Anyway, I never knew about this psoas muscle. I don't know how I missed that. Being 62 and learning all about life and having kids and running health food stores for 12 years, you'd think I would have known about this muscle, but I didn't. Anyway, the way he described it, it connects up to the spine in a way that could very well have been causing the pain that I was having. The thing is, a lot of people have spondylolisthesis and don't have any pain. They say that on the MRI, right? They say when the results of the MRI come back, it says, essentially it says, hey, FYI, lots of people have what you have and don't have any pain, so this might not be the cause of your pain. We're just giving you this picture. But it seemed so obvious to me that the spondylolisthesis was the cause of my pain. That my bone is moved forward. It's near these spinal nerves, and I have pain. So, right? Anyway, the psoas muscle seemed to be, or it's possible that that's the cause of the everyday pain that I feel in my back. I'm not saying I don't feel any pain anywhere, because like I said, I'm the age I am, and I've earned lots of pain. Plus, I haven't been able to do all the physical things I used to do for a long time, a long ass time. So that means that I have lost muscle I have lost strength and conditioning and capacity, lung capacity and everything. So I just have soreness just because I'm weak, you know? But, so I'm working to build that up. I'm getting out every day, regardless of the weather, and walking. I am, doing stuff at home. I'm going to slowly build this back if the pain-free holds. And I'm really excited about that. And I just share this not because it's not medical advice. It's not medical. I just want to share that in case if you have back pain that's kind of no one is solving for you, you could ask your care providers about the psoas muscle and see if the Thomas test is something that they know about and can do with you, or your PT person can do with you, and see if that gives you any relief, because it was life-changing for me. And I mean, like 30 years, my life has been getting smaller and smaller. So I just wish a big, fabulous life for you. And so if it can help you in any way, I just want to share it. All right, have a great day.